The wind swept across the red Arizona plains like a restless whisper, carrying with it the scent of sage and old memories. Dust swirled in soft spirals as the small desert town of Red Mesa came alive for the annual Frontier Festival, a place where cowboys still tipped their hats and elders still told stories under the wide open sky. In the middle of it all stood Lena Whitefeather, an Apache woman with eyes as deep as the canyon shadows and a smile that carried both warmth and a lifetime of quiet resilience. She had come not for the music or the rodeo, but for something far more fragile, a ring that held her past, her pain, and her promise to the future. The ring was simple, a silver band with a tiny turquoise stone in the center. But to Lena, it was everything. It had belonged to her grandmother, who had worn it through hardship, love, and loss. It was the last piece of her family she had left after a fire took her childhood home. Somewhere in the chaos of the festival crowd, it had slipped from her finger and vanished like a ghost in the sand. Nearby, leaning against a wooden fence, was Caleb Reed, a quiet cowboy with weathered hands and eyes that had seen more sorrow than he ever talked about. He had come to Red Mesa to sell horses and maybe find a little peace after years of drifting. He noticed Lena immediately, not because of her beauty, though she was striking, but because of the way she moved, like someone searching for something precious and barely holding back panic. "Lose something, ma'am?" Caleb asked gently as she passed him for the third time. Lena stopped and gave a shaky laugh. "You could say that. I lost a ring, probably somewhere in half of Arizona by now." Caleb tilted his hat. "Must be one special ring." "It is," she said softly. Then, trying to lighten the heaviness in her chest, she added with a teasing smile, "Tell you what, cowboy, if you find it, I'll marry you." She meant it as a joke. A fragile joke to keep herself from crying. But something in Caleb's eyes shifted. "Then I reckon I better start lookin'," he said. What Lena didn't know was that Caleb understood what it meant to lose something irreplaceable. Years ago, he had lost his younger brother in a river accident while trying to save him. Since then, he had been wandering from place to place, quietly helping others as if doing so might somehow make up for the one life he couldn't save. He began searching immediately, kneeling in the dirt, brushing aside sand, checking under benches, even asking strangers if they'd seen a small turquoise ring. People chuckled at his dedication, assuming he was just playing along with a harmless joke. But Caleb wasn't joking. Hours passed. The sun climbed high, then slowly began to dip toward the horizon. Lena eventually stopped searching, her hope fading into heartbreak. She sat alone near the edge of the festival grounds, holding back tears, convinced the ring, and the last piece of her grandmother, was gone forever. That's when she heard footsteps. "Ma'am." Caleb's voice was rough, like he'd swallowed too much dust. She looked up, and there he was, standing in front of her, his hand closed in a fist. Slowly, he opened it. There, resting in his palm, was the ring. For a moment, Lena couldn't breathe. "No, how did you?" "Found it near the old cottonwood tree by the riverbank," Caleb said. "Someone must have dropped it there." Tears streamed down Lena's face as she took the ring, pressing it to her heart. "You have no idea what this means to me." Caleb smiled softly. "I think I do." She suddenly remembered her joke. A blush crept across her cheeks. "About what I said earlier, I was just—" "I know," Caleb said kindly. "You don't owe me anything." But something had changed between them. What started as a joke had become a bridge, two wounded souls meeting in an act of simple, selfless kindness. Over the next few days, Lena and Caleb talked. He told her about his brother. She told him about her grandmother and the stories she used to tell under the stars. They laughed. They cried. And slowly, without either of them realizing it, something gentle and real began to grow. One evening, as the sky turned gold and purple, Lena slipped the ring back onto her finger. "You know," she said softly, "maybe I joked about marrying you, but I wasn't wrong about one thing. You found what I thought was lost forever." Caleb met her eyes. "Sometimes the things we lose lead us to what we were meant to find." And in the quiet of the desert, surrounded by wind and wide open skies, two hearts that had been broken by life found healing in each other. Because kindness, real, selfless kindness, has a way of turning jokes into miracles, and strangers into family. And in Red Mesa, under a sky full of endless stars, Lena Whitefeather and Caleb Reed discovered that even T. His smallest ring can hold the power to change a lifetime.